Oh boy, I love this nostalgic intro. It never gets old. He says one episode into a 54 episode series. So I have seen Digimon Adventure before, of course. But I saw the English dub that was on TV when I was a kid. And boy did it have some questionable editing and translation choices. Sometimes they would speak lines completely different to the original lines.
Nice hair, good color.
Let's turn this guy into pudding.
I'm sure there were reasons for it, but a lot of the time, the lines fell out of place and it came off, making the series feel kind of disjointed. So I am so happy to watch the original Japanese for the first time. And today we are going to be reviewing the first story arc, the Devimon Saga. Now, Devimon doesn't actually show up until halfway through. The first half of this story arc is an introduction to Digimon and the digital world, and the second half is about Devimon. We get our first episode where we are introduced to the characters and their Digimon, and then we get an episode for each of the Digidestined where we really get to know them and even see some character progression straight away as they unlock the champion forms for their Digimon. Also, every time we see a Digimon, we are told its name and what level of evolution it is. The series wants us to know about Digimon and about the world they're in, and it does it well. It teaches us about Digimon well. Sadly, however, Taichi and Koromon do not remember the events of the movie, but I'm sure that will be a plot point later on. By the way, do you mind if I take a moment to fanboy over the voice actor for Tentomon? This guy is called Takehiro Sakurai, and boy is he great. He is probably most famously known for being the voice of Cloud. He's also Shogo Makishima from Psychopass, and most recently he has been the voice of this guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. Right, swiftly moving on. Straight away we can see that there is a data/digital naming scheme in this world. Digimon are digital monsters. The island they're on is called File Island. There is some kind of connection to computers going on. Also, the comedy is spot on. One thing I will say, that the dub actually did pretty well, that I actually do miss, and it's not this. Some of the music they made for the dub was actually really good. Although the Japanese version does have the superior intro and Digivolution music. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters.
Koromon, Digivolve too?
We also see a popular trope used often in anime where the characters are transported to some kind of hellish world. We start to see things from the real world, like the phone booths, the Japanese streetcar and the phone lines. In anime like Siren and Cage of Eden, this trope was used to show us that this new world they've ended up in might not be so alien after all. It was even used in Planet of the Apes. Here it is used to hint to us that the digital world is not so far removed from our world, that there is some kind of link. The series also shows us the requirement for Digivolution. The Digidestined must be in danger. This triggers the Digimon to Digivolve, although the requirements for later Digivolutions are different. For ultimate Digivolutions, I believe the Digidestined need to exhibit the characteristic of their crest, although that won't be coming into play just yet. In fact, we don't even learn about the crests yet, but we do see ultimate level Digimon around, letting us know that there is a level above champion. Oh man, Yamato and his harmonica. I'd completely forgotten about this. Edgelord Yamato, being all shy and running away to play his harmonica. This saga also shows us some great dynamic between the different characters, and even between the Digidestined and their own Digimon. Each character, even the Digimon, has their own distinct personality that shines through. I like that the series even shows us the Digidestined freaking out and being super sad because they miss the real world. They actually act like real human beings, which is pretty refreshing. Oh, Numemon, this guy is a legend. He throws poop at you if you piss him off. This episode about Toy Town is both great and creepy. Monsemon brainwashes people into playing with toys. This episode focuses on Mimi, who, with some imagination and photoshopping, don't you think she kinda looks like Dracula? I'm not quite sure why I did that. Mimi's hair just made me think of Dracula, and now it's in the video. Eventually, when they destroy the black gear in Monsemon, he turns nice, and then he does this to the Digidestined. That's right, his true self is even creepier. He drugs them all up. So eventually they climb Infinity Mountain. Everyone has unlocked their champion level Digimon other than Takeru and Patamon. And they meet Devimon, Leomon and Ogremon. Leomon is great of course and an all-round good guy, but he is under the control of the Black Gear. Ogremon on the other hand is just a prick. By the way, which do you prefer, Juken or Fist of the Beast King?
Fist of the Beast King!
Let me know in the comments. If you get the correct answer, you get a cookie. So Devimon breaks up the island, revealing that his black gears are controlling even the island itself, which is pretty crazy. And the Digidestined get split up, which leads us to some more interesting episodes showing more character development. The Digidestined get split into groups of 2, and we get to see some more interesting dynamics between the characters, especially Yamato and Taichi. These guys are hilarious. They keep getting into fights and then making up and then fighting again. We also get a mention that Fire Island is just one part of the digital world, that there is a continent over the seas. It's more world building to set up the next story arc. Well done, Toei. The Koshiro and Mimi episode is great too. You know when you're playing a game and your significant other wants attention, but you're really into the game, so you're like, no, I'm busy playing a game. This scene pretty much sums up that experience. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts sure put a strain on my relationship back in the day, and that's not even the worst thing they did. There's even an episode about creepy ass cultists. That's creepy ass cultists, not creepy ass cultists. That would be strange in Digimon. Anyway, the cultists turn out to be ghost Digimon. There's an actual ghost episode, and they weaken the ghost by chanting a sutra. Then we get the episode about Takeru, the pre-finale. He's alone with Patamon because there's an odd number of Digidestined, so they can't all be split into teams of 2, but he gets one of the best episodes. We see the town where baby Digimon are born. Also, this happens. Patamon is sad about not being able to digivolve, so Takeru tries to cheer him up by guessing what he'll digivolve into and drawing pictures of them, but he makes up some really crappy Digimon and it makes Patamon feel worse. Takeru is like a Digimon fan who makes up their own Digimon and thinks it's cool. I mean, that totally is cool. Yep. So we learn by the end of this episode that Takeru doesn't like fighting and Patamon doesn't actually want to digivolve. He wants to stay as Patamon so that he can continue being Takeru's friend, and he promises Takeru that they'll be together and they'll be friends forever. How sweet. And this only makes the next episode even more potent as the season finale. Good work, Toei. The Digidestined all make their way back to Infinity Mountain and the final fight with Devimon begins. Devimon becomes gigantic and he is too powerful for everyone. Although they do manage to rescue Leomon thankfully. Devimon takes the opportunity to take out Takeru, and Patamon is still sad about not being able to digivolve, but he sees Takeru in trouble, and, knowing that he can't digivolve, he throws himself in the way to save Takeru anyway. This, of course, enables him to digivolve. Oh yes. One of the most memorable moments in all of Digimon, maybe the most memorable moment. Angemon, our Lord and Saviour, however, can't just beat Devimon easily like that, because Devimon has grown too strong. So he borrows the powers of the Digivices and he sacrifices himself to defeat Devimon. And remember in the previous episode Patamon said that he wanted to stay with Takeru forever, and yet he just made the ultimate sacrifice to save Takeru. Angemon even turns to Takeru and apologizes because he is breaking their promise of staying together forever. This was just done so well. Well done, Toei. For the third time, well done. Don't worry though, because Angemon doesn't just get destroyed, he turns into a Digitama, which means we might just see Patamon again one day. There is still hope. And then, to end the Devimon Saga and set up the next saga, we see a hologram of Genai, another human in the digital world. Oh man, what a journey. And that was only 13 episodes. So much content in 13 episodes. And yet, it didn't feel rushed, it was paced really well. It was really damn good. Now, I have pretty much been reviewing this as we've gone along. I've been saying all the good things and the things that I think they did really well. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything that they did badly. I don't have any criticisms for this first saga. I don't think there's anything I'd change about it. I do have some criticisms for the dubbed version, although I've mostly already said about that. Some of the voice lines were changed from the original and they felt really out of place. That's really about it though. So, it's grading time. I always grade my episode reviews, so there's really no reason not to grade this story arc, right? Let's give it a grade. The Devimon Saga is going to get a grade. It was glorious. A fantastic job all around. If you've never seen the original Digimon Adventure, then I wholly recommend watching it. It's great. It's a very different style of storytelling to what we're used to nowadays, and it was pretty refreshing going back and watching it. And if you've only seen the dub version, I recommend going back and watching the original Japanese with subtitles. The voices are better, although don't get me wrong, I love the English voice for Devimon.
What a waste of time!
But there were also some slight edits that were made in the English version too, although the edits are much more significant in the Myotismon saga. But we'll get to that when we get to that review. So next up on the horizon is the Etamon saga. I'll be working my way through all of the Digimon Adventure story arcs. So we have Etamon next, then Myotismon, and then finally the Dark Masters. And to finish it off, I'll likely do the movie Children's Wargame or Our Wargame, because goddamn I love that movie. And it really rounds off the story of the original Digidestined nicely. So, if you enjoyed this review, why not check out my others? Like my review of the original Digimon movie, and my weekly episode reviews for Digimon Adventure 2020. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. The Super Etamon Saga review, baby. It's coming soon. Why is it super? Because...